This is Bruno, but instead of dribbling one ball, this Bruno can dribble two balls at once, making his DPS higher. That's just one of the many marksman tips we'll cover in this video. Like why Melissa's second skill range is longer than its indicator, how to make Karrie's attack speed faster without buying more items, and why the Leslie on the right hits way harder than the one on the left even though their items and levels are the same. But we have to start with Miya, who can solo kill every other marksman at level 1. When Miya's passive stacks hit 5, the bonus damage is way more painful than people might think. You can wait in the bush, then go straight basic attack, first skill inspire, and spam your basic attacks. With that, you'll instantly be up by 1 kill. But did you know, there's a hero who doesn't need kills to win on gold, like Clint, whose passive is the strongest snowball tool and lane pressure. Check this out. When we're pressuring the enemy marksman, we can only choose between hitting the enemy or the turret. But since Clint's passive makes his basic attack an area attack, you can chip away at the enemy while taking plating. The trick is just stand in a straight line with the enemy and the turret, then attack the farthest object. If you think those tips are useful, just wait until you see the tips for other marksmen. Did you know Beatrix's ultimate cooldown isn't shared? So if Wesker's ultimate is on cooldown, that doesn't mean Renner's ultimate is on cooldown too. That's why you can use Bennett's ult first skill, then Nibiru's ult. If you're playing Ixia and you want to ult, don't use first or second skill first, because your ultimate will extend the range of your skills. So the right combo is ultimate, then first skill, and save the second skill for enemies trying to escape, so the range is maximized. Speaking of range, did you know why Melissa's range is longer than her indicator? The range of her second skill is only this much, but after it's used, the doll also has its own range. So if you wanna poke in lane, don't be afraid to throw your second skill, even if the indicator doesn't reach. Did you know, ever since the update, Claude's ultimate now scales with attack speed. So before you ult the enemy, make sure your first skill is ready with at least 3 stacks. Speaking of stacks, Brody's basic attack only deals significant damage when his passive stack is at least 2. So use first skill to plant stacks on the enemy before you start to pressure. If you have 4 stacks at level 4, you can solo kill every marksman. Remember, solo kill, not a 2v1 fight. If it's a 2v1 fight, Hanabi is very good because her passive makes her attacks bounce around. If you're playing Wan Wan and you can ult, don't activate the ultimate right away. It's better to wait for the enemy's HP to get low first, then ult. Because if you get a kill, the duration gets extended. Wanwan's ultimate can also be used to dodge dangerous skills. Speaking of ultimate, did you know there are 2 ways to use Natan's ult, for offense and defense. If you wanna go offensive, drop the ultimate behind the enemy, then immediately first skill and second skill. This is Natan's biggest burst damage because the skills are guaranteed to hit. But if you wanna ult defensively, use your ultimate behind you. This makes your first and second skill line up with the ultimate, so the enemy gets hit by your skills twice. The shadow can also be an escape tool if someone jumps you. Speaking of escaping, Irithel is the most agile marksman. Unlike other marksmen who have to keep their distance, Irithel is actually great for flanking with your fighter. So don't be afraid to dive in and finish off the enemy marksman or mage. Different from Irithel, who has to move around a lot, Karrie actually hits harder when he stays still. That's because the stationary Karrie won't have a wind down animation. So when playing Karrie, don't move the left analog stick unless you have to. Pretty cool, right? We'll cover a lot of other tips up to how the Bruno can juggle 2 balls at once. But before that, let's continue with Leslie. Look, Why does the Leslie on the right hit harder than the one on the left? If you time your basic attack right before Leslie's passive activates, your auto attack gets reset instantly. This makes your basic attack instant. That's why Leslie's full combo is auto attack, passive first skill, passive ultimate, passive second skill passive. Since we run combos, you should know that Moskov's second skill can combo with first skill plus flicker. All you have to do is just second skill then flicker so the direction of your second skill points toward the wall. With that, the enemy is guaranteed to get stunned. Edith also has a similar mechanic, but not for changing direction, instead it extends the range of her fling. This is super useful if you wanna surprise the enemy. If surprising the enemy, Popol's trap can jump scare the enemy if the position is right. When laning, place Popol's trap at the edge of the bush closest to the enemy. The enemy gets startled and you can burst them. Don't place the trap on the edge close to you because it'll be easy to dodge. Besides Popol's trap, Layla's first skill is also super easy to dodge, which makes Layla struggle to chip away in lane. But if you do the math, Layla's second skill actually deals more damage than her first skill. So the most consistent way to chip away is first skill on a minion, then use the bonus range to second skill the enemy, then basic attack. That'll stun the enemy and you'll have a chance to retreat. You can use the same trick so the enemy can't dodge your ultimate. First skill on a minion, second skill, basic attack, and when the enemy is stunned, use your ultimate. The key to playing Layla is skill management, while the key to Granger is energy management. So if your first skill isn't hitting the enemy anymore, just cancel it so you don't waste energy. This also applies to minions. But what not many people know is that your first skill can also be cancelled with ult. So if the enemy has moved out of your first skill, just ult so the energy doesn't get wasted. If Granger wants to maximize his energy, Yi Sun Shin wants to maximize his crits. So if you're farming and your timing is off so the passive fails, just use first skill to reposition, so your passive is active again. Besides Yi Sun Shin, Kimi also has to maximize her passive, which makes her stronger when active. For that, in the early game, you can attack jungle monsters until your energy is at 75%, then go back to lane so by the time you arrive, your passive is already on, which guarantees you to win the lane pressure. Besides Kimi, Roger also has to maximize his skills. You just have to second skill in human mode, then ultimate, and second skill again. With that, you'll get 2 buffs at once. Did you know Obsidia's second skill isn't a dash, it's actually just a movement speed increase, so don't be afraid if you run into Mincetar. Also, to make your bone shot stack up faster, spam your first skill on a group of minions. Now, we're going to cover how Bruno can juggle 2 balls at once. When the first ball is in the air, you can activate your first skill again, which makes your basic attack always carry the first skill effect, so your DPS will be way higher. This video took a long time to make, but this is just one of many other one-tip videos on this channel. So join our membership to get early access to future videos, and if you love this video, you'll definitely love this video too.